Have you ever woken up, sat on the edge of your bed, and thought, when did I stop feeling like myself? Maybe you don't feel that spark in the morning anymore. Maybe intimacy feels like a memory instead of a possibility. Or maybe it's that quiet, gnawing fear that you're slowly disappearing from the man you used to be. I've spoken to so many men who feel exactly this. They tell me they just feel dull, unwanted, less alive. And I want you to know right now, it's not your fault, and it's not just old age. Hello, I'm Dr. Edward. I'm a retired urologist and men's health specialist from Greenville, South Carolina. I spent over 35 years helping men over 50 reclaim their energy, their circulation, their sexual potency, and most importantly, their confidence. Today, I'm going to share one of the most effective natural approaches I've ever seen in my practice. A method so deceptively simple, yet so powerful, that I've watched it change thousands of lives, including men who thought it was all over for them. And yes, I'll tell you exactly how to use it, step by step. But before we go further, do me a favor. Subscribe and click the bell. It only gets more interesting from here. And write in the comments which city you're watching from. I read every single comment. Let's be real. Our bodies change with age. You notice it in small ways first. Feeling colder in your hands and feet. Getting winded quicker on the stairs. Waking up in the middle of the night, restless, staring at the ceiling. And then the changes get personal. Your desire fades. Intimacy feels forced or awkward. Maybe you avoid it altogether because you're afraid of disappointing your partner. Most people will tell you, that's just what happens when you get older. But let me ask you this. What if that's not true? What if age isn't the real problem? What if the real culprit is something far more silent? Imagine the plumbing in an old house. Over time, minerals build up inside the pipes. The flow slows down. Water pressure weakens. Your body is no different. Inside you, there are miles of blood vessels, big ones feeding your heart and brain, and tiny ones delivering oxygen and nutrients to places most men would rather not discuss out loud. As you get older, those vessels don't just age. They change. They stiffen. They narrow. They get inflamed, like pipes slowly clogging up. They choke off the lifeblood of your body. And here's the thing. The smallest vessels go first. That's why one of the earliest signs of circulation trouble is changes down there. It's not about willpower. It's not about manliness. It's about blood flow. But here's what really worries me. Most men ignore these early signs. They feel embarrassed. They think it's their fault. Or worse, they think it's inevitable. So they buy pills. They hope for a quick fix. They don't realize that those pills don't heal anything. They're like turning up the faucet on a clogged pipe. It might work for a while, but it doesn't clear the blockage. Meanwhile, the real problem keeps growing. Blocked blood vessels don't just make intimacy difficult. They raise your risk for heart attacks, strokes, dementia. Yes, that's right. The same silent process that steals your spark in the bedroom is damaging your brain and your heart. And no one's telling you this. I've had men in my office, proud, strong men, break down in tears. They tell me they feel disconnected from their wives. They feel like they've lost something that made them a man. They feel invisible. And I want to tell you something I've told them. You're not broken. You're not too old. And you're not alone. Because here's the truth. Your body is still capable of responding. Your blood vessels can still open up. Your spark can still come back. You just need to know how to work with your body instead of against it. I'm going to show you one of the simplest, most natural ways I've ever seen to help clear those pipes, restore healthy circulation, and reignite not just your energy and potency, but your confidence and connection with your partner. It's not a magic pill. It's not a prescription. It's not some risky procedure. It's a natural approach I've taught thousands of men, one that uses your body's own healing mechanisms. And here's the kicker. Some of the most powerful tools you need, they're probably sitting in your kitchen right now. So stay with me, because in just a moment, I'm going to share the first method I use to help men get their lives back. It's not complicated. It doesn't require you to spend a fortune. And yes, it really can help you feel like yourself again, sometimes in as little as 18 hours. Sounds hard to believe. I understand. That's why I'm going to walk you through exactly how it works, the science behind it, and real stories of men just like you who thought it was too late until they tried it. So don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. If this is hitting home, take a second to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next part. And please, write in the comments where you're watching from. I want to know who you are and what you need. Because this isn't just about health. It's about hope. And it's about getting back to feeling like you. Now, let's get into the part you've been waiting for. That's when I share with you one of the simplest, most natural approaches I've ever seen work. I remember a man named Robert. Robert was 66, retired from the factory, big calloused hands but gentle eyes. Married for over 40 years. When he came to see me, he didn't say the word erection once. Didn't have to. He said, "Doc, I'm tired of seeing my wife's face fall when I tell her not tonight. I'm tired of lying about why I'm so tired. I'm tired of feeling like a fraud." He thought it was over. That's when I told him something he didn't expect. "Robert, it's not you. It's your blood." I explained how, after 50, your blood vessels don't work the way they used to. They stiffen. They narrow. Like an old garden hose with years of grime on the inside. And the smallest ones, especially the ones that carry blood to the penis, are the first to clog. That's why he was struggling. Not because he wasn't a man anymore. Not because he didn't love his wife. But because his blood couldn't get there. I could see the relief in his face when I said, "This isn't your fault. And it isn't hopeless." He asked me what he could do. He braced himself, probably expecting me to pull out a prescription pad. But instead, I told him to go to the grocery store. He laughed at first. I said, "Robert, you're going to pick up something so ordinary you'll think I'm crazy. But if you use it right, you'll see changes fast." I told him red grapes, not exotic pills, not expensive powders, just red grapes. He squinted at me. "Doc, you're kidding." I shook my head. "Those little red grapes? They're filled with a compound called resveratrol. Think of it as nature's plumber. It helps your blood vessels relax and expand. It clears the traffic jam inside you." I explained how resveratrol boosts nitric oxide in the blood, the same molecule those expensive blue pills try to simulate. But grapes don't force anything. They help your body do what it's meant to do. Safely. Gently. Robert wasn't convinced at first, but he promised me he'd try. He went home. Every morning, he had a small bowl of red grapes with breakfast. 2 weeks later, he walked into my office looking 10 pounds lighter, not on the scale, but in his spirit. He didn't say anything right away. He just sat down, rubbed his hands on his jeans, and said, "Thought my wife cried. Not because it didn't work, because it did. I felt like I was 40 again. Not a kid, but a man." I smiled, because I'd seen it so many times before. Here's what was really happening. The resveratrol in the grapes was helping his blood vessels open up. More oxygen, more nutrients, better circulation to every part of his body. And yes, that includes the most personal parts. It wasn't just about sex. Robert was sleeping better. His legs didn't cramp at night. He stopped complaining about cold feet. Because when you fix circulation down there, you're not just restoring intimacy. You're restoring health. If you're wondering how to do this yourself, it's simple. I tell my patients, white heavy check mark about a cup of fresh red grapes every morning. White heavy check mark, wash them well. White heavy check mark, eat them with breakfast. It doesn't need to be complicated, and it doesn't need to be overnight. But if you do it consistently, you're giving your body the building blocks to fix itself. But let me tell you something. That was just the beginning for Robert. Because once he saw that change, he wanted more. He asked me, "Doc, is there anything else?" I smiled and said, "Yes, but this next one, It doesn't just help your blood vessels. It protects something even more vital, your kidneys. That's when I told him about the second fruit. And if you're watching this and thinking, I want to know what that is, good, stay with me. Because the second method changed everything for Robert. And it might do the same for you. If you're finding this helpful, make sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next part. And let me know in the comments if this is speaking to you. Tell me where you're watching from. I read every single one because I want you to know you're not alone. You're not broken. You're just waiting to feel like you again. And together, we're going to make sure you do.